Here at the Carrier Billing Summit in Amsterdam, courtesy of Mobile Ecosystem Forum, what are some of the sort of challenges that carrier billing faces? There's a lot of people talking very positively about it, but there's also a lot of people, I think, saying that there are some challenges that it faces. What, from a carrier point of view, do you see as some of the sort of hurdles that carrier billing faces currently?
I'd say there were three main issues. The first one is the multiplication of the number of different means of payment on the market. Maybe 15, 20 years ago, people would just use credit card, they just use check, they just use cash, whatever. There are a whole lot of different means of payment now. So obviously there's more competition than there was maybe 10 years ago. But I think it's also an opportunity for carrier billing because we can be one of those alternative means of payment. I think customers are much readier to experiment with new means of payment, something that's there that they want to use when they want to make that purchase, rather than just sticking with one means of payment. But there's undoubtedly more competition than there was. A second challenge for us is making sure that our customers are well educated about carrier billing. I think the fact that we lack a common brand, a common name, we're up against some big names, makes it a little bit harder to communicate to our customers. And I think as telcos, we haven't always done a good enough job of communicating to our customers about what carrier billing is, how it works, what can they do if they have a charge to their bill that they don't want, they don't recognise it. They need to understand what the benefits are, they need to understand how it works. And if you don't have a single name that you can use, it makes that job a little bit harder. So I'd say that's the other big challenge that we have.
Okay, what about PSD2 and payment ceilings?
They're also a challenge, you're correct. There are two issues there. One is that the PSD2, now becoming the PSD3, limits the use of carrier billing to digital services, goods and ticketing and charitable donations. That's a big market already, but obviously if we could use that for physical goods, it would be great. I don't think anyone's going to go out tomorrow and buy a new kitchen with their carrier bill, but they might want to be able to pay for, I don't know, a coffee or a hamburger or something like that. So that would be great. There is a way of circumventing that called the agent model, which we're working on at the moment, but certainly that limit is one that is unfortunate. And the other is the payment ceilings, which are currently at €50 per individual transaction and €300 per monthly transaction. They'll be going up a little bit with the PSD3 in the year to come. But again, they set a ceiling, which sometimes means that if you want to make a purchase that's a little bit over that €50 limit, you can't do that.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about some of that growth in France, because it has been quite extraordinary, the growth in carrier billing in France. Tell us about the figures, what's happened, and why has it grown so well?
Well, we're looking at double figures growth quite a few years now in the French market, so I'd say it would buck the trend maybe. But if we look at 2024, we had 21% growth on 2020 compared to 2023, and for stores and streaming services, so subscription video or music platforms, we were looking at 24% growth altogether, so really, really good. I think it comes from a combination of things. The telcos working together to try and develop the business and perhaps communicating better as well to our customer base. The fact that we brought on some big partnerships, Netflix launched in France, that made a big difference. We had the launch of Deezer as well, so quite a few big names coming on there, and continued excellent performance from the big app stores. Ticketing as well has been a small but sure growth area in France, with the increased number of transport companies using carrier billing for ticketing. So all those things, I think, working together to make it a positive ecosystem.
Do you think that growth will continue? Sort of probably not at that stellar rate, but are you predicting sort of growth to continue?
We're predicting continuing double-figure growth. Whether we'll keep it up at that level, I don't know. It's always hard to say. Obviously, what's really important is to bring new partners on board. We hope that the agent model, which will allow us to circumvent the rules of the PSD2 totally legally, I say, will also allow us to bring on board new use cases, new partners, and all the work that we can do with the other operators and internally as well to promote DCB as a brilliant, easy, simple means of payment will pay off. Yeah, I hope so.
Brilliant. And finally, what are some of the things that you're sort of doing with DCB currently that are sort of new and innovative? I'm thinking particularly about the sort of tie-up with RCS and DCB. Can you tell us a little bit about those sorts of projects?
We're working on a project which will bring together two core telco assets, which are RCS business messaging and carrier billing. We believe that carrier billing is integrated into a conversational messaging ecosystem, has huge potential. What we see at the moment is the use of applications is declining. Customers don't want to have all the hassle of downloading an app, creating an account for something that they just might make a one-off purchase. Why would they want to do that? And then they forget their password, so it's all very complicated. So what we can do with RCS is offer the customer the possibility of having that payment, making that purchase within the messaging ecosystem. He never has to leave his messaging application, and the payment is integrated within that. An example of what we tested recently was with a couple of charities. So the SPA, which is the Animal Protection League here in France, and also the FRM, which is the Foundation for Medical Research in France, both used RCS as the means of targeting customers to ask them if they'd like to make a donation. So customers received the message. We had a really good conversion rate of customers who went ahead and made a donation, and then within that RCS flow they could choose the amount they wanted to donate, or they could decide themselves that they wanted a different amount. They confirmed the purchase, so the proof of purchase is within that messaging experience, and then afterwards they were able to receive their tax rebate certificate. Really important if you're a donator. All that seamlessly within a message, a couple of messages. Really good customer experience. So we hope we can capitalise on that by developing payment for ticketing, for example, with RCS. So we can think of a whole load of use cases as well that we could develop.